NVIDIA ChatRTX, it's an app that allows you to run locally and let LLM connect to your own data such as documents, notes, images, and text files. And it uses the power of retrieval-augmented generation, so RAG, so it can query a custom chatbot to quickly get contextually relevant answers. So basically, you can speak with your own data. So you choose the data, the content that this LLM can analyze, can use as context. You ask questions and the LM will try to find an answer from your own data and send the answer back to you. And all of this happens locally, so it's more secure and more private than using a solution like ChatGPT or Cloud, for example. And as it says, ChatRTX supports various file formats such as text files, PDFs, Word files, and images. Also, you can ask questions by using your voice, and it supports multiple languages. And also it does photo and image search. So let's say you have a bunch of images and you want to find one that shows a dog. So we can ask for that, and the LLM, the app, will try to find that image that shows a dog and send it back to you. So it's really awesome. And performance-wise, from my experience, it works really fast, and I did a bit of research, and it seems that the reason it's being used the NVIDIA GPU Tensor cores that makes it really performant. And we'll see in a few moments how it works. However, there is some prerequisites to be able to run this app. So the main one I will say is you must have an NVIDIA GPU RTX 30 or 40 series, or an Ampere or 8th generation with at least 8 GB of VRAM. Then you must be running Windows 11 and also have 16 GB of RAM available. And also you must have some free space on your machine, so the download is quite huge, it's 11 GB. So let's download the app to then install it and test it. So let's click here on download now, and you can find the link to this page on the description of this tutorial. So let's download. And now it will take some time, so I'll let it to finish. Well, the download has finished, so now we have to unzip this folder. So let's click here on extract all. And let's extract the folder. So now let's just wait some more seconds. So now that the folder was unzipped, let's open it. And now to install, let's execute the setup executables. So this one, let's do double click. And now we have to accept the license agreement. Now here we can see what comes on this installation. So the ChatRTX app, the Mistral 7 billion per meter LLM. So it's a very good model. And Whisper, so this is what processes our voice. So basically, if you want to use your voice to ask questions to the LLM, basically this is what does the speech recognition and translates your voice to text. And here, let's check here the perform a clean installation option. And now let's click on next. And here we can choose the installation location. Let's leave the default one. And now let's just wait some time for the installation to be finished. So the installation was completed. So let's launch ChatRTX. So let's close here the installer. And now the app will be started. And here is the ChatRTX app, which is very straightforward to use. So here on the top, we can choose the AI model to be used. So by default, it's being used the Mistral 7 billion per meter LLM, which is a very good one. It has a great performance, and you can check out its details and benchmarks results on the Mistral.ai website. Then we can also from here install the ChatLLM LLM, which is a bilingual one that supports both Chinese and English. And then we have also here the option to install Clip, which is a neural network that allows us to interact with our photos and images by text. So you can ask, for example, an image that shows a dog, the clip neural network will search for that and send it back to you if it finds basically an image that shows a dog. So that's pretty much it for models. Then we have here the data option. So here we can choose basically the data that can be used as context that the models can analyze. So by default comes installed with this app dataset that we can use for testing. So here we can see it. So a dataset with a bunch of text files, and we can use, for example, this one to text the Mistral 7 billion parameter LLM. Then we have here a Chinese dataset, and also we have an image dataset that we can use, for example, to work with the clip neural network. And then, apart from chatting only with our own data, we can also switch to chat with the AI model data. So we have both options. So for this tutorial, let's chat with our data. So now let's do some questions to the model. So the Mistral 7 billion parameter LLM model. So here we can see some questions that are being suggested. So these are related with the data set that is here on this folder that is being that will be analyzed, that will be used as context by the model. So let's click here on this one. So what is Portal Prelude RTX? And so it will answer based with the data that the model can find here inside. And then in the end, it gives the reference file. So the file from where the model was able to get the answer. So if we click here, we can see that was opened the file that basically talks about what is the Portal Prelude RTX. So now let's try to use our data. So I've created here a simple text file that has some sentences such as Cristiano Ronaldo is 20 years old, which is not true. Then here I'm saying my age and where I'm from. And then here I'm saying here just Elijah, so we can see how the model will behave. So football is played with hands and volleyball with the feet, which is not true. So let's see how it works. So first, let's put here this text file inside of the folder from where the model gets the context. Also, we could just change here the folder, but let's keep it more simple and just move here the text file. And now one thing important to highlight. So if we now do the question, so how football is played, we can see here that the provided context information does not contain any information about how football is played. However, we put here indeed a file that says how football is played. So what happens when we put new data, new documents on the data set? We have first to reload, refresh the data set, and then do the question. So we have click here, and now the data set will be refreshed. And now if we ask again, so we can just here regenerate the response, so we don't have to type again the question. And here it's saying football is played with hands. And here we can see the reference file. So here the file that we have created says that. So now let's try how old is Cristiano Ronaldo. And it says he's 20 years old, which is not true, but is what we are saying here on the file. That is the context of the model. So now we can try with a voice input. So voice, so basically ask the questions with our voice. So I'll click here, and now I'll say, so how old is Marcel and from where he is? So now let's stop here. And we can see here, well, it could be better recognized probably. So let's see how if it understands the question. And yeah, so we can see that, let's try just one more time. How old is Marcelo Cruz and where is from? Now it looks better. So let's send a question. And here you can see Marcelo Cruz is 25 years old and he is from Portugal. And reference file, the test data file. So it's looking Very good. It worked well. So now let's give a try to the model, the neural network that allows us to interact very easily with images. So here, let's change the model to clip. So first we have to install it because it doesn't come by installed by default. So to install the model, first let's download it by clicking here. And now we have to accept here the license agreement. So let's click on agree and continue. And now let's just wait a bit. It shouldn't take much time because it's just 1.5 gigabytes. So let's just wait. So the download has finished. So now let's install the neural network. So let's click here on install. And now let's click here on continue. So installation was completed. So now we can see that also was changed the model to clip, so to the neural network that allows us to interact with images. And now we can see here some suggestions of things to ask, of features of bicycles, of dinosaurs, toys, or computers. So we can see here that the data source by default is this one, so the context of the model. So we can see here, if we go to images dataset, the images that are added by default. So let's ask, for example, pictures of bicycles. So let's click here and we can see that it shows basically all matched images. So it was two images, and if we click here, it opens basically a folder that only contains the matched images. So let's try with other ones. So for example, can be one image that shows a domino. So we can see that there is one that shows a domino. Where it is, I saw it. It's this one. So let's see if it's able to recognize. So picture of dominoes. And here you can see it worked well. So now let's try to add here some images. So I have here a folder that has a cat, a dog, a moto, and a rocket. So we can just simply push these images to the currently used dataset, or we can also just change the dataset here. So let's do it. So here we can click here, and now let's go to desktop and pass here the images folder, select. And now let's ask a picture of the dog. And here you can see it worked well. Picture of a cat, picture of rocket, a picture of a moto. Now let's try something random picture of a hamster. Let's see what it will provide. So it provided probably, I believe, not totally sure, but it just sends always an image that has the highest probability of being the right answer. And here on this case, there was no right answer, but probably the dog was the most similar for the model, for the neural network, most similar image to an hamster. Now, in the case, for example, on the Mistral 7 bill per meter model, if you want to chat with the model data, so we can just here switch on chat with your data RAG to chat with AI model data. And now, for example, if we ask Cristiano Ronaldo age, let's ask, it will give here an answer. So it says the date it was born. I think it's right. However, the model knowledge may probably just goes up to 2022. Probably, I'm not 100% sure, but we can see here that it says the date correctly. But as of August 2021, is 36 years old. And now, for example, if we ask how football is played, let's ask. You can see now here an answer that makes sense, that it's right. So it's not looking to our context that we have provided, which contains wrong data about how football is played. So now the model is looking to its own data and to basically give an answer. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up and now subscribe to the channel and enable notifications bell so you don't miss any tutorial released here on the channel.